you take your next breath, before your mind returns to yesterday's memories or tomorrow's worries. Pause with me for a moment, because there is something your heart has been carrying, something heavy, something silent, something you have tried to ignore but cannot escape. And Buddha said, letting go is not the end of the world. It is the beginning of freedom. If you feel stuck, if you feel pulled backward by a past you cannot change, if you feel unable to move because something inside you still hurts, then this teaching is for you. Stay with me, because what you hear in the next few moments might become the turning point in your healing. Right now, your mind may be holding on to something, a person, a mistake, a memory, an expectation, a wound that still feels fresh, even if years have passed. But ask yourself, how much longer can you carry what is breaking you? How many more days will you give away to something that already ended? Buddha taught that most suffering does not come from the event, but from the mind that refuses to release it. Today, we learn how to loosen that grip, how to breathe again, how to free the heart from what has already walked away. In ancient India, a monk once asked the Buddha, "Why do I suffer even when nothing is hurting me now?" The Buddha replied, "Because your mind does not live in the present. It holds the ashes of the past and calls them fire. Your pain might not be happening anymore, but the memory is. The attachment is. The story is. And those are the chains we are here to break." Before we go deeper, ask yourself one gentle question. What am I still holding on to that no longer holds me? Keep that answer quietly in your heart. We will return to it, and you will see it differently by the end. The Buddha taught that letting go is not simply forgetting, nor forcing yourself to move on, nor pretending the pain never existed. Letting go is the art of releasing the story your mind keeps repeating. It is the courage to say, "My suffering ends here. I choose peace over attachment. I choose clarity over illusion. I choose freedom over repetition." And this choice is not weakness. It is one of the highest forms of strength, because anyone can hold on, but only the wise learn to release. So take a slow breath. Feel your chest rise. Feel the weight you've been carrying. Now, imagine, just for a moment, that this breath is the first step toward putting that weight down. Not all at once, not perfectly, but gently, with awareness, with compassion, with honesty. This is where healing begins. This is where the teaching of letting go truly starts. By the time this teaching ends, you will understand why you hold on, why it hurts, why the mind refuses to release, and how to finally step out of the cycle, not by force, but by wisdom. Not by forgetting, but by awakening. Let us walk together into the heart of what letting go really means. Let us go deeper now, because letting go is one of the most misunderstood teachings in Buddhism. People often think letting go means giving up, walking away, or becoming emotionless. They imagine it as a kind of cold detachment, a life without desire, without relationships, without passion. But that is not what the Buddha taught, and that is not what your heart is truly searching for. Letting go does not mean you stop loving. It means you stop suffering from the way you love. It does not mean you stop caring. It means you release the expectations that turn care into tension. It does not mean you suppress your emotions. It means you stop letting your emotions imprison you. The Buddha used simple but profound language. He said that clinging is the root of suffering, not because objects or people are wrong, but because the mind tries to hold them in a world that is constantly changing. Clinging is fighting reality. Clinging is asking things to stay the same when they cannot. Clinging is begging the world to behave according to your fears, your hopes, your stories. In Buddhism, letting go is not a loss. It is a return to truth, a return to balance, a return to the original spaciousness of your mind, the place where peace is not forced, but naturally present. Imagine holding sand tightly in your fist. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips away. But if you relax your hand, if you open your palm, the sand remains, resting gently, never fighting, never resisting. This is the essence of letting go. It is the shift from gripping to allowing, from force to acceptance, from fear to openness. Letting go does not make you weaker. It makes you lighter. It makes you wiser. It makes you more alive, because you are no longer dragging the weight of yesterday into today. And here is a truth the Buddha emphasized again and again. You cannot receive what is meant for you if your hands are still full of what has already passed. You cannot meet the next chapter of your life if your heart is still repeating the last one. When you cling, your energy becomes tangled, your mind becomes crowded, your heart becomes tired. Letting go clears the path, like clouds parting after a long storm, revealing a sky that was always there, a clarity that never left, a peace that was waiting patiently for you to return. Sometimes the pain you carry is not from what happened, but from your unwillingness to release your version of how it should have been. Letting go allows space for healing, for wisdom, for growth. And the Buddha didn't only teach this as philosophy. He taught it as practice, breath by breath, moment by moment, witnessing the rise and fall, the coming and going, the constant flow of life. When you observe your breath, you notice it enters and leaves. You do not cling to the inhale. You do not resist the exhale. You simply allow. You trust the rhythm. You trust that nothing needs to be held or forced or controlled. This too is letting go. And here is a meditation you can try. As you listen to these words, visualize the things you've been holding on to. A memory, a regret, a resentment, a fear, an expectation, a person you love so deeply that letting go feels impossible. Do not push them away. Simply place them in front of you and breathe. Notice the tension in your chest, the heaviness in your shoulders, the tightness in your jaw. Then imagine releasing just one finger, not the entire grip, just one finger, one small act of loosening. The Buddha said, even the smallest step toward letting go creates a doorway to freedom. You do not have to release everything at once. You only need to begin. This chapter of your healing does not require perfection. It only requires sincerity. Letting go is not an event. It is a gentle unfolding, a song of the heart, a gradual surrender of resistance. Allow yourself to let go slowly, deeply, kindly. And as you do, you will feel the mind lightening, the heart opening, and the soul remembering that freedom is not something you must chase. It is something you uncover when you finally stop holding on. There is a truth the Buddha repeated again and again, a truth so simple, yet so difficult for the human mind to accept. Suffering does not come from the world. Suffering comes from the grip we use to hold the world, from the stories we refuse to release, from the memories we replay, from the emotions we clutch so tightly. But they begin to reshape our entire inner world. And so often, the pain we feel is not from what happened, but from our inability to let what happened move on. When we hold on, the mind becomes heavy, the heart becomes tense, and life begins to feel like walking through water. Every step slow, every breath tight. Letting go is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength, because it requires you to stop fighting life and start flowing. The Buddha taught, when you let go, you are free. When you cling, you are bound. Think of a hand holding a burning coal. It is not the coal that creates the suffering. It is the grip, the refusal to release. even though the fire is already causing pain. Overthinking does the same. Fear does the same. Old wounds do the same. The mind tells us, if I let go, I will lose control. But the truth is, you never had control over the past to begin with. You only had control over how long you would carry it. Letting go begins with a single awareness, a single whispered truth. I no longer want this pain to guide my life. When you say this, the mind shifts, the body softens, and the heart creates just enough space for freedom to enter. Pause here. Take a slow breath. Feel the weight you carry. Maybe a resentment, maybe a disappointment, maybe a fear you've been hiding from. Let it rise to the surface, not to relive it, but to finally see it, because you cannot release what you refuse to acknowledge. In Buddhism, letting go is not erasing the past. It is no longer allowing the past to lead your present. It is choosing peace over stories, awareness over reaction, compassion over control. Letting go is an inner shift, a soft but powerful declaration. I choose freedom over attachment. And from this moment, every time your mind tries to reopen the wound, you gently remind it, we are no longer living there. Every time fear tries to pull you back, you say, not today. Today, I choose clarity. Every time pain resurfaces, you breathe. You are allowed to visit, but you are not allowed to stay. This is the practice. Not a one-time event, but a slow unraveling, a gentle loosening, a compassionate untying of everything that has kept your heart small. When you let go, you don't lose anything. You simply reclaim the space where pain once lived and allow peace to grow in its place. This is the beginning of real freedom, the freedom Buddha spoke of, not given by the world, but discovered within. Letting go is the moment. You stop carrying what was never meant to be carried forever. And today, you begin that journey. There is a moment in every spiritual journey, a moment when the mind becomes quiet enough for a deeper truth to reveal itself, not through force, not through effort, but through clarity. And that moment arrives when you stop asking, how do I let go? And begin asking, what is holding me so tightly? Because Buddha taught that letting go is not something you do. It is something that happens when you finally see the nature of your suffering with honesty, with tenderness, with courage. Pause with me here. Just breathe. Feel your own life in your chest. Feel how your mind carries memories, mistakes, regrets, hopes, fears, all at once, like a bag you never put down. Now ask yourself quietly, what am I still carrying that no longer belongs to me? Most suffering does not come from the past itself, but from the way we keep replaying it, fearing it, clinging to what should have been, and expecting what can never be. And Buddha said, what you cling to makes you suffer, and what you release sets you free. So in this fourth step, we look directly at the root of the attachment, not to shame ourselves, but to free ourselves. Think of a hand holding a burning coal. It hurts, but the pain does not stop until the hand releases its grip. Not because the coal changed, but because you did. And in the same way, your suffering softens, not when life becomes perfect, but when your heart learns to stop gripping the stories that were never meant to define you. Let us go deeper now. Imagine the things you cannot let go of, the relationship that ended, but still sits in the corners of your mind, the mistake you made that still echoes when the world becomes quiet, the fear that keeps whispering, what if it happens again? What if I am not enough? These thoughts feel real because you repeat them, not because they hold truth. Buddha taught that thoughts are like clouds. They appear, They drift. They pass. But suffering comes when we try to hold them in the sky. So ask yourself, is this pain coming from the event or from my unwillingness to release the story? And here, right here, is the turning point. Letting go begins the moment you stop arguing with the past and start making peace with the present. If your heart feels heavy as you hear this, good. It means something inside you is waking up. It means your spirit is recognizing a truth you have avoided for a long time. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It does not mean pretending you were not hurt. It does not mean acting as if you never cared. Letting go simply means, I choose peace over the need to control what already happened. Repeat that softly, even if your voice shakes. I choose peace over the need to control what already happened. Now listen carefully, because this is where transformation enters. When you let go, you do not lose. You gain. You gain space. You gain breath. You gain clarity. You gain yourself. You stop living as a prisoner of your old wounds and start living as a guardian of your inner freedom. This is why spiritual masters say that letting go is not an ending, but a returning to who you were before the fear, before the heartbreak, before the expectations, before the world taught you how to suffer. Letting go is returning to your natural state, a state of presence, a state of softness, a state of wisdom, a state of peace. As we move into the next part, carry this question gently with you. If I stopped repeating this story today, what part of me would finally be free? Hold that question in your chest. Let it echo. Let it reveal what your mind has been avoiding. Let it guide you toward the freedom that has always been waiting inside you. There is a moment in every journey when the burden you carry becomes heavier than the road you walk. Not because the burden grew, but because your heart finally became tired of pretending it can carry everything alone. Letting go is not a single act. It is not a dramatic moment where pain disappears. It is a slow untying, a gentle loosening, a soft and steady release of the stories that have shaped your suffering. Buddha taught that what we hold on to holds on to us. The anger, the disappointment, the memory of someone's betrayal. They do not stay in the mind as simple thoughts. They settle into the body. They harden into the breath. They live inside the chest like stones. And every morning, without realizing it, you lift those stones and begin another day, wondering why you feel tired before anything has even happened. But here is the truth, a truth that most people never hear in time. You do not have to carry what was never meant to stay. Maybe someone hurt you. Maybe someone left without apology. Maybe life changed in a way you never asked for. Maybe your heart cracked in a place that still aches when you breathe. The mind tells you holding on keeps you safe, that remembering the pain protects you from repeating it. But Buddha said the opposite. Holding pain is not protection. It is imprisonment. When you hold a burning coal, it does not punish the person you are angry at. It burns your own hand, your own skin, your own peace. So in this part of our journey, you are invited to slowly unclench the fist that has been gripping your pain, not by force, not by pretending, but through awareness. Take a breath. Notice how your body feels when you remember something painful. Does your chest tighten? Does your jaw clench? Do your thoughts rush toward old memories, like a storm returning to a familiar shore? Now place your hand gently over your heart. Feel the warmth beneath your palm. Feel the life beneath that warmth, and whisper inside yourself, I deserve to be free from what hurts me. This is not forgetting. This is not saying the past was right. This is choosing yourself. When you release the weight of yesterday, you do not erase your story. You reclaim your power. You return your energy to the present. You open space for peace to enter. You make room for healing to breathe. Letting go is not abandoning the past. It is honoring your future. It is saying, I will not let what happened steal what is still possible for me. It is choosing the open sky over the closed room, choosing the path ahead over the ache behind, choosing freedom over familiarity. And the moment you loosen your grip, even slightly, something beautiful happens. The pain loses authority. The memory becomes lighter. The heart begins to unclench, and your breath becomes something sacred again. Sometimes people believe they cannot let go because the wound is deep. But deep wounds are the ones most deserving of release. The ones that shaped you do not need to define you. The ones that broke you do not need to follow you. Letting go is not a weakness. It is the highest form of courage. It is the moment when suffering realizes you are no longer willing to be its home. So today, in this quiet moment, tell your heart gently, you have carried enough. You may rest now. You may release now. You may begin again now. Because freedom does not arrive in one sweeping motion. It arrives breath by breath, thought by thought, moment by moment. Every time you decide, I no longer carry what does not belong to me. There comes a moment in the journey of letting go, a moment that is quieter than enlightenment, softer than victory, and more powerful than anything the mind can imagine. It is the moment when the weight you have been carrying begins to loosen, not because the world has changed, but because you have. For years, you may have held on to stories, to memories, to disappointments, to the belief that things should have been different. You replayed events again and again, hoping the past would soften under your gaze. But as the Buddha taught, holding on is like gripping a burning coal. You believe it will protect you, but it only burns you deeper. Letting go is not forgetting. It is not pretending you were never hurt. It is not forcing yourself to heal before you are ready. Letting go is simply choosing not to carry the wound into every tomorrow. Take a slow breath here. Feel your chest rise. Feel your body soften. Let the breath travel into the places where you still hold tension. Your shoulders, your throat, your belly, your heart. With every breath, invite the body to participate in release, for the mind cannot let go until the body feels safe enough to loosen its grip. And here is a truth the Buddha emphasized again and again. Suffering does not come from what happened. It comes from the way we cling to what happened. When you hold on, you resist reality. You resist impermanence. You resist the natural flow of life and resist the root of pain. But when you breathe into the moment, when you say, I am willing to soften, I am willing to release, I am willing to stop fighting what already happened, then the body relaxes, the mind unclenches, and the heart begins to awaken. Pause here. Place your hand over your heart. Feel the warmth, the pulse, the life. Let this be your reminder that your story is not what hurt you. Your story is what you survived. Letting go begins with acknowledging, I do not need to suffer twice, once from the event and again from the memory. You may notice emotions rising, grief, anger, fear, sadness. Do not push them away. Letting go is not running from feeling. It is allowing the feeling to move through you without building a home inside you. Imagine you are standing beside a river. Each thought, each memory, each attachment is a leaf floating on the surface. Some leaves carry pain, some carry longing, some carry what you wish could have been. Do not chase the leaf. Do not grab it. Observe it gently and let the river take it downstream. This is letting go, not force, but flow. And as you practice this, you will notice something extraordinary. The mind becomes lighter. The heart becomes clearer. Your identity becomes less tangled. You start to see yourself as more than the story, more than the past, more than what happened to you. Letting go is ultimately an act of self-compassion. It says, I deserve freedom. I deserve peace. I deserve a life not shaped by old wounds. Every time you soften your grip, you take one step closer to that freedom. And every time you return to awareness, you take back a piece of your power. So in this moment, let yourself whisper, not as a command, but as a blessing. I release what no longer serves me. I release the weight I was never meant to carry. I release the memories that keep me from living. I release the pain that has stayed too long. I release the version of myself who thought holding on was the only way to survive. This is the doorway. This is the threshold. This is the beginning of a new chapter, because letting go is not the end. It is the first breath of liberation. Before this moment ends, before your mind tries to return to old patterns, before the familiar weight of yesterday reaches for you again, I want you to hear this clearly. There is a path beyond pain, and the Buddha showed this path by teaching us the art of letting go. Letting go is not forgetting. It is not pretending the suffering never happened. It is not becoming numb. It is not erasing your past. Letting go simply means you stop allowing what happened to you to keep happening inside you. Pain comes from the world, but suffering comes from the refusal to release that pain. And today, as we arrive at the final part of this teaching, you are ready to loosen the grip you have held for so long, ready to breathe again, ready to free the space inside your heart that has been waiting to open. Take a breath, slow and full. Feel the air rise through your chest and settle like soft light inside your heart. With every inhale, you are arriving. With every exhale, you are releasing. This is the rhythm of freedom. The Buddha said, when you let go, you are free. When you hold on, you are bound. It is not life that binds you. It is not other people. It is not fate or karma. It is the mind that refuses to unclench, that keeps repeating the same memory, the same fear, the same story, over and over again. But the moment you release the story releases you. Imagine your mind as a closed fist. Inside that fist, you hold your disappointments, your heartbreaks, your anger, your expectations, your guilt, your resentment, your fear of what could happen, and your longing for what never happened. This fist has been tightening for years, but now, slowly, gently, you open your hand, one finger at a time. You loosen your grip on the past. You loosen your grip on what cannot be controlled. You loosen your grip on the people who are no longer walking with you. And suddenly, there is space. Space for breath. Space for clarity. Space for peace. Space for your life to move again. Pain cannot stay where openness exists. Suffering cannot survive in acceptance. When you open your hand, the world opens with you. Letting go does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop carrying the heaviness that was never meant to be yours forever. Letting go does not mean the memory disappears. It means the memory no longer controls your present. Letting go does not mean the wound didn't matter. It means the wound no longer owns your future. In this final moment, I want you to place your hand on your heart. Feel its warmth. Feel its rhythm. Feel its courage. This heart has survived storms. This heart has carried weights that others never saw. This heart has worked tirelessly to keep you alive. One breath, one day, one step at a time. Today, you honor this heart by giving it something you have not given it in a long time. Freedom. Whisper to yourself, softly, slowly, as if speaking to a dear friend. I release what no longer serves me. I forgive what I cannot change. I return what is not mine to carry. I choose peace over control. I choose freedom over fear. I choose to let go. Let these words melt into you. like warm sunlight dissolving the frost of old pain. Letting go is not a single action. It is a practice, a daily devotion, a gentle returning to yourself. Whenever the mind tries to pull you back, whenever an old memory rises, whenever fear whispers, hold on. You have the power to breathe and say, "No, I am choosing freedom now." One day, you will look back and realize that the moment your suffering began to end was the moment you decided to unclench, to release, to open. And in that opening, you discovered something sacred. You were never empty. You were never broken. You were simply holding too tightly to what your soul had already outgrown. So now, as we close this teaching, I leave you with the Buddha's timeless truth. Just as a candle cannot burn without fire, your heart cannot shine while burdened by holding on. Let go, and your light will return today. You begin not with weight, but with space, not with fear, but with breath, not with the past, but with the freedom of this moment. This is where your healing begins. This is where your suffering ends. This is where you finally let go.